December 7th, 2018.
This is Nerd Bourbon episode 79. I'm Seth Sturgill.
And I'm Todd Sturgill.
Hello, Todd.
Hello, Seth.
You want to know something?
What?
I learned something after we did last week's episode and you talked about Pulaski Day. I learned I was making a playlist on Spotify, which is something that I've gotten really into lately. Weirdly, I like curating playlists. Like, I don't know, I like the act of making a playlist. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, it's like when you're a kid and you made like mixtapes or like burn CDs, you know? And Spotify, I mean, I know this sounds like a Spotify ad, but Spotify just makes it so easy, you know? So I spend a lot of time just like finding shit and being like, yeah, I should make this playlist today. I have like 4 playlists now. And the most recent one I made was a sad playlist. Because, yeah, every now and then I'll be like depressed and I just want to listen to sad music, you know? To sort of match my mood and my energy. And as I'm looking, I put a couple of Spotify has this feature where when you're making a playlist, it will sort of recommend you songs that would fit the playlist in whatever magical algorithm they use. And one of them was a song by an artist known as Sufjan Stevens. You ever heard of him?
Nope.
He's sort of a eclectic, folky / rock / kind of, he does like a little bit of everything. He's got a very eclectic musical style. Really good. I like a lot of his songs, but he has a couple of good Christmas albums that I've enjoyed. But he has a song called Casimir Pulaski Day off of an album called Illinois. And it's funny because like I saw that in the recommended songs for my playlist pop up. And so I was like, I'll give this a listen. I like Sufjan, and I feel obligated to listen to a song called Casimir Pulaski Day. And it is one of the saddest fucking songs I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, shit.
To the point where like, after I listened to it, I was like, this is actually too sad. I don't know if I want to put this on my playlist. It's really sad. It's like about like his past with this girl that he loved who like died, or either she died or she like became a vegetable or something like that, or something like, and his like struggle with faith during the entire thing. It's a sad fucking song. It's basically like the first 10 minutes of Up, but in song form. And
oh no.
Anyway, so, and it's called like it barely has any like Casimir Pulaski Day. I don't know. It was just funny because when I saw that, I was like, ha, Pulaski Day. We had that whole bit on the podcast about Pulaski Day. Let's listen to it. Oh shit.
I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, the regret was immediate. It was immediate, man. It's been an interesting week. I yesterday, actually, at the time of this recording, I finally got back behind the screen in the first time in like at least 4 months. Like 3-4 months probably it's been since I've played D&D with anybody. So that was nice. Shaking the rust off the Dungeons and Dragons.
Wasn't with the people that mattered. No, I'm just
But I'm trying to get to a place where I play with both groups week after week and just sort of like get a consistent schedule going. But man, like, I really love Dungeons and Dragons, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Oh, I sometimes I'll just find myself just thinking about like my character, and I'm like, God, I want to, because me and you have like talked about like what I want to do with my boy.
Yeah,
by the end of this,
I'll say this: your character was name dropped in the session.
Oh shit! Oh,
I'll talk to you off mic about it a little bit.
Ooh, I need to know.
But yes, your character's name was dropped. Actually, I don't think anybody realized it.
Oh, I don't think anybody I don't think any of them know that character yet. Obviously.
Yeah, the only person that I think might know, I don't think noticed it.
It was
So
the only person that should have known was like probably Scotty.
yeah, and I don't think he noticed. But yeah, well, the reason why he might not have noticed is because I did not name drop Magni Golden Forge.
Did you just name drop Magni?
No, I name dropped Magni Black Forge.
Ooh!
All right. Anyway, that means nothing to any.
It means everything to me, though.
But so yeah, so that's been fun, man. Like it was really nice to get back behind the screen. Like it's weird from a DM's perspective. Like I know for you guys, it's probably been like rough too, like thinking about your characters and stuff. But it's weird because like it's like you've cultivated a world in your head that just exists in your head, and I've never really stopped thinking about it. In fact, I've been thinking about it basically constantly since I've last played. But
well, you gotta kind of keep it fresh in your head, you know.
It's not even just that. Like you do, but you also like. It's impossible for me to not keep it fresh in my head. Like, and it's funny because I'll bring up like characters or something like that or events, and like it's been so long for you guys, and it's just not. It's not a constant obsession with you guys like it is for me. So I'll be like, remember this? And people are like, no.
I feel like I'm probably one of the only people that usually remembers that shit.
Yeah, I usually have to refresh people's memory, but it's just, I don't know. It feels so like real to me that like, it's like I exist in two places. I exist in this world, but I also exist in that one, you know? And it never really stopped being that way. Even though, you know, obviously because of the wedding and stuff and work and schedules, like I just have not been able to play with anybody in a long time. And so it's been nice to sort of like roll dice again and, you know, get behind the DM screen again. And I'll tell you more about this off mic, but like, fuck, like they're in some like brutal shit right now.
Oh yeah.
And it was kind of fun and indulgent to be like that DM for a little bit. Like the sort of like typical asshole DM.
Oh, God bless.
I'm not normally like that.
Yeah, you normally don't do it, but it's like, here's the thing: when you do it, ooh.
I like to give my players something to be afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
And the situation that this party finds themselves in is one big situation.
Well, it's funny is you kind of done that, like, cause you usually do that really well with like Hope and Travis. Like you've done some shit to basically teach them some lessons, basically.
Right. Well, whenever I feel like the environment that I've created is a little too safe, I'll throw in something that isn't.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to keep people on their toes.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Anyway, Todd, what have you been playing this week?
Oh shit. Mainly, honestly, mainly Darksiders.
Right.
Kind of like still trying to figure out if I care enough to platinum it.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is you would have to do the hardest difficulty, right?
I know.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's like part of me is like, so there should have been a new game plus. It's just honestly, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, they definitely just probably had to get that out before it was done.
Yeah, so I actually looked on their Twitter, on Gunfire Games Twitter, and they had responded to a few tweets to that effect, and they were sort of like, we haven't said anything yet, but it's something we're looking at, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I was saying, it's like, the first two both had New Game Plus, didn't it?
Yeah.
At least, I know for sure the second one did.
Yeah, the first one does too.
It's just, I honestly feel like that game, well, it's like that game needed some more time in the oven, as we said last week. So...
Yeah, but I mean, you've finished the
close
story.
though. That's the thing. I'm definitely. Oh yeah, I did finish the story, and I'm pretty sure I got the actual ending.
Yeah, like the canonical ending.
Yeah.
I haven't finished it, but I did. Now that I've put a little more time into it, I did kind of want to circle back to Darksiders and just talk about a few of the things that I guess we either didn't talk about or I didn't fully understand when we first spoke about the game.
Yeah.
Because I think us talking about the game sort of morphed into a conversation about us talking about the sort of validity of a 7 out of 10 game, which ended up
that is basically what it turned into.
Which is fine, and that's just the natural place the conversation went, and it ended up being a major part of the episode. But I do want to talk about a couple of things with the game itself, like. I think something that's worth talking about, and I think we both sort of realized it after we had recorded last week's episode, was like just the sheer amount of Dark Souls influence
Oh
the
yeah.
game has.
It's funny is like when you brought it up to me, I'm like, oh yeah, it doesn't even faze me when games do that nowadays because that is such a popular thing to do, to take like to do the Dark Soulsification
It's just so
of
funny
a game.
because I mean, like people don't give it. I feel like some people don't give Dark Souls the credit it deserves. I mean, it is one of the most influential series of the
Oh
past
yeah,
several
it's
years.
it's like, you know what's funny is it reminds me of like when like fucking Titanfall came out, then every other fucking shooter had a fucking.
It's on an even grander scale than that
Oh,
though.
it is without a doubt a grander scale, but it's like that's one of the things. That's something I think about. Is just like that kind of like changed shooters for a couple years with like the wall running.
I think it's on the scale of like I'm serious. I think that the influence of Dark Souls across the sort of world of action RPGs is to the same extent that like when Halo 1 came out. And now every shooter has regenerating health all of a sudden. You know what I mean?
Yep, yep.
And like
It's it is crazy for me being such a fan of like, being such a hardcore fan of the Soul series. It's like it's an action RPG, but to a certain extent, it's become its own fucking genre.
you don't realize that you're playing a classic when you're playing a classic. You know?
Yep, yep.
So, but yeah, but like Darksiders is like another one of those games that it just wears its Dark Souls influence very much on its sleeve.
I, it's funny is like as I was playing, I jokingly call the Nephilim respite like Estus flasks.
Well, it's like we do that regardless. Even
I know.
even in Bloodborne, I
Yep.
still call it Souls or Estus.
Souls.
You know?
I don't think I've ever called it fucking Blood Echoes.
Yeah, it just
I mean, I think maybe I've done it once, and it was like because I was like so ingrained in the game. It was like late, probably like really late into my life with that game.
there are games like like Lords of the Fallen or The Surge, which I've never played, or like Salt and Sanctuary, which are very much like this is a very clear almost rip-off. Like
I'm not. I hate the Surge so much.
I think you've actually talked about it on the show.
I hate it.
But those games where their influence almost a little too it's almost a little too close. I think Darksiders has a good balance.
Well, because it's still Darksiders.
It's still Darksiders. It still has that sort of like heavy. To me, this is no different than like the first one, Darksiders 1, felt like Zelda was sort of the cream that rose to the top of its influences, right?
Yeah.
And then Darksiders 2 sort of took that and tried to make it its own organic thing with some more open world RPG elements, almost almost like an MMO influence in a little bit of a way. Like
In a way, I can definitely see that.
as I was playing it, it reminded me of when I played like Kingdoms of Amalur or something like that, where I'm like, this is quite literally just a few other players away from feeling like it's an MMO, with the big expansive world and the random loot and stuff like that. But then this one sort of circles back to having a little bit of that Zelda influence, but it also, I think the cream that rises to the top of this one is Dark Souls, And that's true of not just the way that the like core gameplay loop is handled, because like it is very much a sort of like boss like the structure of the game is about finding and killing bosses, right? Which is sort of the Dark Souls way of handling narrative structure, and that's fine, and that's that works. It totally works here too. But I think that it does some interesting things. I think the hollows are really interesting. The concept of having like these different forms, sort of, that you can switch on the fly for different effects and different traversal and combat.
Yep. How many hollows do you have now?
I still just have the one.
Lord, you definitely haven't put some time in it.
Well, the thing about it, I just literally haven't had time to play it.
Yeah.
But I still just have the one. I'm where I'm at in the game. I'm going after. I guess I'm going to the what was it called, the library or whatever. whatever it's called.
Museum, you mean?
Yeah, the museum.
So you're going after Avarice.
Yeah, that's where I'm at in
Okay.
the story. I just haven't had enough time to put back into it, but I still just have the Flame Hollow for now. But I know that there are others, and like I like the concept of having these sort of like, because the Flame Hollow, right? You get the sort of like fire-based maneuvers that you use for puzzle solving, but you also get that sort of charge jump.
Mm-hmm. Then you also get the garbage tier weapon.
Yeah, and you've told me about some of the other stuff that you get for the other hollows that are like traversal based, and I like that idea. Like I like the idea of like having that stuff at your disposal in a way that feels natural.
Yeah, it's like the one thing that I really respect about the game, for as like jank as it feels sometimes, I do respect how good that feels. The switch, you can just switch it on the fly.
Yeah, in a weird way, I feel like my opinion of the game is even further elevated the more I actually play it.
Oh yeah, well, dude, like once I've said, I think a lot of people have said it, is just like once you get the hang of the controls and like the kind of the jank, the game just feels a lot better. Like, because like one of the things I was having issues with in the beginning was was like doing like the arcane counters, just like to get the timing down.
Yeah,
Because it was just kind of weird and shitty. But once you get the hang of that, it's shit. I'll be doing arcane counters all day.
yeah, and then even still, like, just the sort of like once you get used to the game's bullshit, like once you like get, especially like as it involves the puzzles and stuff like that, because some of the puzzles are just obtuse, just completely fucking obtuse.
I think I saved you from the fire of one of them because it was one of the ones that I had, like I was just sitting there like a dumbass for a little bit.
That was one that I could see myself figuring out. The one that I had trouble with was one that didn't even phase you whatsoever.
Oh yeah.
And it's just funny because like sometimes it's funny when you're designing something how sometimes, and this is true even of D&D or something like that, when you design something that seems completely like obtuse and stupid and one player just doesn't get it, right? But another player's like, "Oh, that was completely obvious to me," and that never.
I don't even remember which one that was.
It was the sword thing.
Oh,
where you have to put the sword in the statue, but the game, there's no precedent for that at all in the game. Like, there you get a little mini cutscene of the sword like falling off, but that's it. No, and to me that didn't really. I don't know. For some reason, that didn't have the right shape for my brain to absorb that. But you were like, oh, that gave me no trouble at all. And then that becomes a major mechanic throughout the rest of the...
Yeah, it's like one of the major puzzles in the game. Fucking with the sword switches, basically.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I mean, I like the sort of structure of the game. I like these sort of like mini puzzle-based locales. It seems to be more heavily puzzle focused than Darksiders 2 was, which I appreciate.
I wish the puzzles were better.
Yeah, but I respect that they're there.
Yeah,
I like Darksiders 1 to me was pretty heavily puzzle focused, and I felt like Darksiders 2 moved in a more action oriented direction.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't know, like the game's good. I think the game, I've had a couple of people ask me, even just yesterday, like at the D&D table, people are, oh, you've been playing Darksiders, like, do you recommend it? And I'm like, I recommend it if you're a hardcore Darksiders fan. Go ahead and pick it up, $60. Yes, like, support the game, right? Because I want to see more Darksiders.
Mm-hmm.
But, for the general person, for the person who is not like a hardcore Darksiders fan like you or I would say probably wait maybe for it to drop to like $40, but I still think the game is like well worth your time.
Yeah, I think it's worth a play.
Again, it's a solid 7. It's worth a little 10-15 hour playthrough and just have a good time with it. And that's sort of where I fall down on Darksiders. I'm looking forward to playing more for sure. What else you been playing this week?
Guess we can jump into this as my little hour of GTA Online.
You mean Red Dead Online?
Oh yeah, sorry, Red Dead Online.
You put more than an hour into GTA Online, sir.
Oh Lord, yeah, we don't talk about that. But
What do you
yeah,
mean
yeah,
we don't
Red
talk
Dead
about? We
Online.
don't. You mean you don't want to talk about the sheer amount of time and money you've spent in GTA Online?
I own a couple shares in Rockstar.
You should. Retroactively, you should. You know what's funny is, as bad as you are, as much of a disgusting villain as you are for doing that, somebody is way worse.
Oh, dude, without doubt, I don't want to know the. It's like, well, here's the thing. I'm happy I stopped playing GTA Online because when they start coming out with some really cool shit, and I didn't play it when it was all that crap came out.
Yeah,
Like
because
they had like a fucking like flying motorcycle and shit. Oh no, I'm happy I wasn't playing. I would have been dropping money like every fucking day.
just despite the fact that you own that game on basically every console it's released on,
Yes.
it's just the shark cards are what got me.
Oh, dude, the shark cards are bad.
I'll never forget. I'll never forget when like you sort of revealed. You've never. I still don't know to this day the amount of money that you spent on the game, but when you kind of ballparked it, I was like, oh no.
What was the ballpark?
Well, it was like I was. We were talking about. I think we were joking around about the shark cards like being on sale or something like that. And I think it was me, you, and Dan in a party or something like that. And you were like, I've bought a few shark cards. And I was like, how much is a few? And you're like, well, more than a few. I was like, if you bought this like great white, this like $100 one, it's like, you wouldn't fully indulge how much money you've spent on shark cards.
I don't know if I ever will because it's a depressing thing.
But I know that I know, and the rest of the world should know that it has got to be in the hundreds of dollars.
Oh yeah, hundreds of dollars.
Jesus Christ, Todd. There was a little time there. Do you remember how bad you used to be about microtransactions?
Oh yeah. See, I'm not that bad anymore.
You've gotten better.
Like, I mean, I'll drop like maybe $20 on some shit, but that's about it.
Man,
like one time.
I remember you were like, yeah, there's this game Loadout, and I've been having fun with it. I dropped like $50 on it. And I think we played that game for like a week.
I did enjoy that game though when I was playing.
The game was fine. It's like,
but all right, but let's move on. Let's
bury your
to
shame.
some Red Dead Online.
Bury your shame in the past there.
So, what I've played, I've basically all I've really done is the tutorial, and it was just like, it's funny. I think the last time I played it was like on my last off days. So, yeah, like legitimately like last week. From when we're recording this,
Right.
it was fun. It was like, I think the character customization is way better than it was obviously in GTA Online. If you can say there was like a character customization in GTA Online.
Yeah, because you had to do that weird shit, right, where you have to pick like your mother and father.
Yeah, I think you can do your grandparents as well or some dumb shit, and you end up with like an ugly piece of shit character. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be making some fucking some winners on Red Dead Online, but you have more customization than you've ever had, with like
You have more of a say in the final product.
yeah, you can find. There's like facial presets, and you can kind of like fuck with like each thing, kind of like fucking with the eyes, the nose, and whatnot, all that crap.
You may be the ugly cowboy of legend. But at least
it's your ugly cowboy.
At least it's
legend.
your ugly cowboy of legend.
Exactly. What I've played with it, there's like a whole there's a whole story with the online now. And I think they've always done a good job at that. And from what I understand, it like takes place before the game, before the
oh, interesting.
or like takes place before takes place before the story, because I guess there's like characters that definitely do not make it in the story.
Interesting.
that are alive in this, and like I guess you can meet them in like stranger missions. There's a lot of shit. I was looking at it like I jumped on there recently, and I was just kind of like looking at the map, and I was like, "Fuck, there's a lot of shit." But the only thing that sucks for me right now is just like, yeah, I want to sit there and play it, but the other part of me is like, I wish I had people to play it with.
Right. So Ronald doesn't have it?
Because no, his ass is like fucking. He still didn't get a PS4, so I'm sitting
Oh.
there like just sitting here like a jackass, and I'm like, cool.
Well, at that point, I'm
Uh,
surprised you didn't get Red Dead on Xbox.
Fuck that, dude. Here's the thing. I bought fucking Black Ops. I've played that shit twice.
Yeah.
It's just I don't care to jump on my Xbox. That's my issue.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's fair. I mean, it's like if I if I enjoyed the game more, I'd play it with you.
right. But it's I know for a fact of like how fun that game would be, like with like somebody else
With
though.
the right
'Cause
person.
it's just like well, yeah. It ends. Like this tutorial ends with you doing like a mission, and just doing it with the randoms. That shit was great. I was like, holy shit, this would be fun with people.
So why not? I mean, so why not just group up with randoms then?
'Cause fuck people.
I mean, if you say that even the final mission of the tutorial with randoms is fun, why not just kind of turn your brain off, play with randos?
I could do that, and I could just do the what everybody else is doing, running around with the lasso.
just griefing people.
Oh, dude, it's great. Like I've seen so many videos of people just like lassoing and just dragging motherfuckers to their death.
I like the sort of like I like the idea of online for these games, but I don't necessarily. I'm still of that mind of like I still really enjoyed GTA 4's philosophy of online.
So yeah, here's the thing. I've always preferred simplicity.
Yeah, because GTA 4, like, there was no instruction. It was like just you're set loose in a sandbox.
That's the thing. It was such a simple time with GTA 4, but the thing is we've had like when I think back to like playing online with like you and Dan, those are some of my fondest memories.
Yeah, we spent a
Like,
lot of time in GTA 4's online just doing nothing, just like either playing basically hide and seek.
chase the bitch, as I like to
Yeah, or like sort of a cops and robbers kind of thing. Where we, I think Dan honed his bitch skills. He's like very good at running away in video games.
Well, it's actually disgusting. Like,
I'll give him that. He's actually legitimately gotten skillful at running away.
I will say this is something that annoys me about the online. I haven't seen it, but I do know about it. Is holy shit, the amount of money shit is in the game online.
Oh, like it's expensive?
Bro, like shit that's like $35 in the story is like almost like $400
Jesus.
in online. It's like holy fuck, people, what?
Wow.
It's like that's just a time sink that I don't know if I'm down for type of shit.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because it's like how much money? Because I know for a fact like dude, you ain't gonna get money like that. That's like it's basically like give us money and we'll let you buy it type of shit. Microtransactions up the ass probably.
well, I mean that's more or less what sustained GTA Online this long.
I mean, yeah,
You know.
it's exactly it's shit. Who the fuck are you telling?
Right, exactly. I wonder I do sort of wonder if this will have the same legs that GTA Online has. Because here's the deal.
That's a good question.
I mean, the thing about it is like GTA Online is available on PS4. So I almost feel like people are good. Like, I don't think you're going to take a lot of people away from GTA to jump on Red Dead Online.
Yeah, I feel like the only people that are gonna be fucking with Red Dead Online are the hardcore Red Dead fans.
But like the hardcore GTA fans that are playing GTA Online every day, like they're not going to stop because they don't have to. Like, it would be one thing if GTA 5 was still only on last gen or something like that, but the fact that you could play GTA and Red Dead Online on the same console, like, they don't actually have to choose. That's actually not a decision that they have to make. They don't have to go either or. They could just they could just do that. And it's interesting because I wonder when GTA 6 comes out eventually, next gen, for sure, but eventually when that does come out, it's like I wonder what stance they're going to take with the online. Like, I almost wonder if it would be more beneficial for Rockstar to just go fully online with it. Or even if they might consider bridging the gap between single player and online. where it's a single player game with online, mechanic, like a connected world Destiny sort of thing. I don't know. I'm curious where they're going to go with that, because online is such a major proponent of it, and obviously they like to challenge themselves with their game design, and they like to do kind of unique things. And I think it's sort of like an implication now that, like, oh, it's a Rockstar game, it's going to have a major online component. There are rumors, for example, that Bully 2 is the next thing they're working on, right? Or a new Bully game, right, is the next thing that Rockstar's working on. That's been a major rumor for a while now. There's been like casting calls for it and stuff like that. So it's
I didn't realize I wanted a second Bully until I forgot about that until you just said it, brought it up right now.
yeah. So there's been, it's especially casting calls ignite rumors that Bully 2 is coming. So Bully 2 is probably going to end up being a thing, but it's like, are you guys going to shoehorn like online into that?
I think online's such a it's such a thing now. I don't think like you can't get away from it nowadays. Like I do prefer the games that are just single player only, but
if Rockstar, if anybody were to make the leap in saying that, like, you know what, Grand Theft Auto is a major franchise, and now it's just online. If anybody was going to be crazy enough to do it, it would be Rockstar.
I definitely. Holy fuck, that would be that'd be some ballsy shit.
But the thing
to just make
the thing about it is maybe it isn't that ballsy, because Rockstar has already sort of made the decision with GTA 5 to sort of say fuck single player a little bit.
Well, the thing is, you're right. And what's crazy about it is, like, they've kind of put story into the online. So now that I'm actually, I don't think it is that ballsy.
That's what I'm saying. That's what sort of sparked this thought in my head, is you were saying that the online's got its own story. Well, what if GTA 6 splits the difference and it's just that? It's basically a extremely robust online suite, to the extent that their single player games would be, but it's also got a story to it. I could see them doing that, because, and then imagine that. Now, all of a sudden, whenever they're releasing these patches or updates where they're adding the flying motorcycles or whatever the fuck, all of a sudden, now that's being released to your quote-unquote story, story mode, in essence. Lord. And then you can charge people money, for the game that they're playing, either by themselves or online. It's something I can definitely see them doing. And like I said, even with GTA 5, like, they explicitly said they had straight up plans for single player DLC for GTA 5. And they just killed them. They said, fuck it, we're not doing it. Like, because the online took off in such a big bad way. Why would they? Yeah. They're just supporting the online now. So, yeah, I could totally see GTA 6 being a sort of connected world fusion of online and single player. I don't know. I think it could be interesting.
I'm kind of down for it.
I don't know if I would say that I'm down for it, but I also know that, like, maybe this is appropriate as a Red Dead 2 corollary, but I know that the old ways are dying.
Oh Lord. It's funny is, like, I'm so happy with what they did with Red Dead Redemption 2, though, because
civilization.
I love that fucking game. Like, I honestly think Arthur Morgan's probably one of the best protagonists they've ever fucking done, if not the best.
That is a consistent thing that I've heard from Red Dead players. That everybody loves Arthur Morgan.
Dude, it's funny. It's like so. It's like when the trailers first came out, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this guy. After they they finish his story, it's like, fucking, he's Jesus.
If you play him right,
well,
but
even if you don't play him right, I think even if you do the low honor shit, he's still got a good thing going on. But, like, when you do it high honor and you get that primo ending for him, you're sitting there. I'm dead ass. I got emotional. I don't get emotional for shit.
Right. I
But that
wish
shit got me emotional.
I just wish I liked playing it better because I'm so into the story and I'm into everything about that game is like 100% my shit, except for actually playing the game.
Yep, the controls put you off that much.
Yes.
Huh? Yeah, I'll give you that.
Anyway,
Oh, yeah, it's because I honestly I think you'd probably I think you'd feel the same way if you when you finally decide to just fucking power yourself through
Todd,
it.
there is nothing I want more. There's nothing I want
I
more
know.
than to just enjoy a real good cowboy story.
I want you to experience. I want you to experience Arthur Morgan's
I
redemption.
want that shit so bad. Like I want that, but I just can't.
I want you to do what I want you to be at the place where I'm at, where I occasionally listen to the music of Red Dead Redemption 2 and just kind of sit there and tear up a little
Well,
bit.
and yeah, and like hearing you say stuff like that. I mean, you know, for the listeners at home, like, no, seriously, you guys, Todd doesn't like get emotional about games. So for you to talk about Red Dead 2 in that light, I know that there is something special in Red Dead 2, but like the extent that I really want to experience the story and the extent that I really don't like playing the game and the controls and the sort of like gameplay elements of it, the gap between those two things is just the index of my enjoyment of the game as a whole. And it's like one day I'm just, you know, I know that my time with that game is going to come one day where I just say fuck it and I just power through everything and I get used to the controls and I just play through it and I enjoy it. One day I know that's going to happen.
And I'll be waiting for you on the other side.
Anyway, so before we get into the news, there is one thing that I wanted to sort of circle back to because we completely
Shit, here's a funny thing. I actually forgot about it again.
we completely forgot to mention something that we had both played last week, and I guess that should maybe be an indication of the sort of vibes that you can get off of the Spider-Man Turf Wars DLC.
It's very forgettable.
It is. I mean, here's the thing. I don't think it's bad, but yeah, it's totally forgettable, you know? Like, and I think there are a few things. I think that it's not necessarily its fault, if that makes sense.
Well, like me and you were talking. We've obviously talked about it off recording, off the podcast. Is it has the misfortune of being the middle child.
Yeah, that's always the weird thing, right? It's like the what Yahtzee says. He's like, you know, you've got the head and the legs cut off, and you're just a torso. You know, basically. So being the middle child in this sort of 3-part heist DLC or whatever, the city that never sleeps or whatever, it's not there's no way to make that good. There's no way to make that something that does not feel truncated, you know? So I do sympathize with that, and I do understand that kind of no matter how good it was never going to be as impactful as the first one is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just forgettable. Like I literally, Todd, I'm not kidding you. I made an effort to finish that DLC before we recorded last week's episode, and I finished it the day that we recorded last week's episode, and I still forgot to mention it.
That's fucked up.
And I had finished it the same day.
That's fucked, dude. Because I played it like I think I played it the day after it came out, and it was like I actually forgot. I didn't even realize it came out. I don't even remember how the fuck I realized. Like I don't know if I was like I was on YouTube. I think I saw like some dude playing it on YouTube. I'm like, oh shit, that came out.
and you know the thing that is the most like sort of egregious sin that I think that this episode makes is so this episode does interesting things with kind of character developments.
Yes.
But it feels almost completely separated from the first episode. Like this Turf Wars could have been released as its own little mini thing without even being involved with a connective tissue at all. So it's almost like there's I don't know if the name Black Cat is mentioned even once in the entire episode.
I don't think it is either.
Like,
it's just the only thing that is like the connective thing about it is it's fucking Hammerhead. That's it.
Right. So you're dealing with Hammerhead and stuff like that, and it's just kind of a boring, like, gang war sort of bullshit, and you're kind of
this is the thing. I've said this. Is Hammerhead a very recognizable, like, villain? Spider-Man villain, whatever. Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
He's very like C tier Spider-Man villain, which is fine.
See, I was generous. I said B tier.
No, I think he's
definitely.
I think he's lower.
Now that you say it, like C tier is pretty
but
good.
The thing about it is like I don't mind him being in there. I don't mind smaller characters, like, it's like the Arkham thing, right? I don't mind, like, Calendar Man being in there and stuff like that. I don't mind these Calendar Man's actually a really great villain, but I don't mind these characters popping in there, and in fact, I have an affinity for these sort of like obscure characters. But
yeah.
I just don't think that they really did anything interesting with him, because they have this whole setup, right, where it's I think was it called like Project Titan or something like that, or was it called
something
Project
like that?
some shit?
Lazarus. I thought it was like Lazarus or something.
No, it's not Lazarus. It's Todd. I don't fucking remember.
Olympus.
That's it. Yeah. I think it's Project Olympus, and basically it's just Hammerhead wears an exosuit, and you still kick his ass.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's not even anything like interesting. I don't know, like, just none of the threads that game, like, pulling the threads that DLC is presenting to you, go nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting things that the DLC does have are kind of resolved in the DLC itself, because, like, there's the big interesting. I'm not going to spoil what the character is, because it kind of is the only thing that is interesting about the DLC, is the way that a certain character is handled in this character's development. But even that is sort of resolved within the DLC. It feels very just stagnant. It just feels like it. I would have almost preferred this to be a 2-part DLC that didn't have any filler. But yeah, I just think it. I don't mind it. Like, I don't hate it. I mean, look, you and I still both 100% at it.
Oh, without a doubt. It's more so just because it's just like, I like to be as close to 100% as possible.
Well, there's that aspect of it, but it's also just fun to play that game, right? Like, even if you're giving me forgettable shit to do, it's still just fun.
Some of them screwball challenges piss me off, but
yeah, I respect that they were trying to do something different with it. Like, I respect that, because this one introduces the, like, stealth ones, right?
Yeah, the stealth ones pissed me off, like, real bad.
They did too, but they annoyed me too, but I was also just like, I recognize what you're trying to do here.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is like, my issue with it is the thing with the stealth ones, even like the regular ones in the base game, I speedrun those and I get like fucking like the highest score possible type of shit.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. I can't speedrun those. I can't speedrun these ones at all because the fucking motion detectors.
Yeah.
And I dead ass forget about them, and then I'm like, oh, you're caught. I'm like, cool.
The thing about it for me was always like the fact that I felt like the enemies were on like higher alert than they normally would be. I'm like really, in the normal game this wouldn't have alerted this guy. Like he wouldn't have seen me normally. I don't know. But that's neither here nor there. I still think that the gadget-based screwball challenges are actually a lot of fun.
Oh, it was funny as this one was like my combo.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck with.
Exactly. It was like the concussive blast web bomb combo.
Yep. It's like that's daddy's bread and butter right there.
Oh, you shouldn't have. It's just I like that. I like the and I actually really enjoyed the what was it? The last one was like in the last DLC was like the gravity what was it called?
It was the I know what you're talking about, but it's like the fucking little suspension field.
Yeah, that's it. Suspension field. with the trip mine, right? So it was, I don't know. I like those though. I like the idea of the gadget challenges. It's better than just like, oh, punch dudes, you know?
Yeah. Well, they're fun. They're just like, I feel like I think they're better than they're better than the regular combat challenges. And I'm like, that is something I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing the other combo that they do in the
I almost
final
I
one.
I almost wish that for the third one they just said fuck it and they're just like, let's do all gadget challenges, you know?
I'd prefer it. I honestly would prefer it. I don't want to see more stealth ones. I hate them.
Yeah, I don't
fucking
think
hate the stealth ones.
I think I'm good on more stealth ones. Another thing that was disappointing with this one, no collectibles.
Yeah, it's funny is like I love the collectibles. Like, dude,
That's like a major thing that I felt like this one was missing.
It's a major thing that I love because it's just like they're like, they shit. My favorite. I think my favorite collectibles are still the backpacks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Like that shit's like it's just like such a cool collectible. Like and like there's like little like story tidbits.
right.
I
hope they finish strong. I hope they finish strong
Yeah.
with the third one. We'll see. But this one just came off as forgettable and a little like undercooked compared to the first one's sort of strong opening. Anyway, with that, Todd, are you ready to head into some news?
Yes.
Well, I've got some news for you this week, Todd. A few items here on the docket. The first one. Let me just tell you this, Todd. Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Okay.
The Nintendo Creators Program is gone.
Oh my god.
This was Nintendo's attempt to moderate what creators were doing with their content on YouTube, which we have actually felt the receiving end of.
Yes, we did.
So that initiative is officially ending on March 20th of next year.
So Nintendo's finally entering 2018?
Right, entering the modern age. This is the statement Nintendo gave. They say, quote, "We are ending the Nintendo Creators Program to make it easier for content creators to make and monetize videos that contain Nintendo game content. We will no longer ask creators to submit their videos to the NCP, and creators can continue showing their passion for Nintendo by following Nintendo's guidelines." End quote. So here's the thing. They have released, instead of doing the Creators Program, where they just are sort of cracking down on everything you try to monetize with Nintendo content, they have now basically said, you can do this, but you have to follow our guidelines. And the guidelines are pretty straightforward.
What are the guidelines?
They're relatively straightforward. So it's an emphasis on allowing Nintendo footage to be shown so long as commentary is associated with it. So
our shit now, like if we went back and did that at that episode now, we would be fine.
Yeah, so essentially what Todd and I, what we had done was we were streaming the show at this point, and we were basically showing the Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu trailer as we were talking about it when it was revealed.
Yeah,
right.
They did not like that.
And Nintendo put the hammer down on it, right? And we had to actually block out that entire... I mean, we could have fought for it under a fair use thing.
We definitely could have fought for it, but it was just one of those things I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I basically just fucking... I think what I ended up doing was putting, like, just the standard, like, Nerd Bourbon logo just...
Yeah, so we had to block out that entire video, which was super annoying, right? This one, yeah. So their big thing with this is they don't want people to just take what they've uploaded and just re-upload it,
Oh, of course not. You need to... That's why I think, like, reactionary commentary stuff is its own video. It is its own content.
Right.
So I'm happy about that.
Another thing that you can't falsely claim to be affiliated with Nintendo, and you can't use footage from Nintendo that has not been officially released. So, like if you were to say have this seems timely because people have gotten their hands on Smash early. So if those people if those people are uploading Smash gameplay footage ahead of its release, then they're going to get the hammer, right?
Okay.
But it seems pretty cut and dry to me. It doesn't seem to be, anything crazy at all. They said that you can release uncommented footage if it's captured from like your own Switch. Like,
okay.
It seems pretty like fair to me. I think the guidelines are totally within
Yeah,
reason.
that doesn't sound like bullshit at all. So it's kind of makes me happy that we're gonna be able to do some Nintendo related shit.
Yeah, and I definitely want to start doing that. Like I approached you like a week or two ago and I was like,
Yeah,
"Hey,
yeah,
can we see if we can get, streaming up on the our kind of recording setup? Can we get that running on Switch?" And it seems like it's going to work fine.
oh yeah, I already have it set up. It's basically so I've honestly kept the capture card just plugged in.
Yeah,
with
because,
that.
at the time of this recording, Smash is not out yet, but this episode is coming out when Smash releases, and so next week you can definitely expect to hear us talk about Smash a whole bunch, but
And there'll probably be a couple
there will probably be some videos before then.
yeah.
Oh, there will be Smash, Todd. I cannot wait. Next bit of news here I've got. I'm sure you've heard about this. A live-action Cowboy Bebop series is heading to Netflix.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah.
Not much is known about the project yet, although we do know that the anime's creator Shinichiro Watanabe is attached in a consulting role, and the first episode is going to be penned by Christopher Yost, who is known in Marvel circles as the head writer of Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and more recently Thor Ragnarok. What do you make of this?
I mean, it's interesting.
I'm like, live action anime like never works.
It doesn't. That's my thing. I here's my whole mentality of it. Anime works only as anime for a reason.
I do sort of feel like it. I think that Cowboy Bebop weirdly is. I love Cowboy Bebop, by the way. Let me just say that's like one of my.
I know you do.
That's top 5 probably for me. A very influential anime for me, and I know that that's not like a hot take, and it's one of the more popular ones throughout history, right? But I just Cowboy Bebop scratches a certain itch for me that not a lot of anime has, and for me, like I think that Cowboy Bebop is probably the most easily translatable anime to live action because it's not as if like there's nothing that happens really in Cowboy Bebop that is completely outside of the realm of possibility.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it seems like if something like this could work,
It'd be Cowboy
it
Bebop.
would probably be this. And as a matter of fact, they've been talking about doing a Cowboy Bebop live action movie with like Keanu Reeves of all people. They've been talking about doing that for years. In fact, Keanu Reeves, I think, made a statement. This isn't a direct quote, but he said something like the script was like actually really good and they just couldn't get all the money together because apparently they were wanting it to be like a huge, like epic movie with like a huge budget. So I don't know, but I don't know. This is interesting to me. And I mean, Netflix really didn't give any details, but I'm curious about it. That being said, Netflix also gave us that Death Note movie. And, well, I didn't watch it, but
I didn't watch it because I don't like Death Note.
I like Death Note, but I didn't watch it because I nothing about it looked good to me. Nothing about it looked good to me. And did Netflix also do the live action Full Metal Alchemist? Was that them?
That I don't know if it was just something on there or they actually did it.
I heard that was actually okay.
Shit. We technically we were supposed to watch it.
We were, and we just didn't do it. I don't know if this is I'm trying to look this up here. It was released in Japan by Warner Brothers. Yeah, it is. It's a Netflix original film in the U.S. So this is something that Netflix is like doing now, huh?
Live action anime shit, apparently.
And evidently a sequel is in development.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
So how weird. Yeah, live action anime, I guess, is something that Netflix is just doing now. I'm intrigued. I'm curious who they're gonna have to play the main characters, because like I associate Spike with Steve Bloom, his voice actor, like so much, like I'm almost like not hearing his voice come out of Spike is gonna be weird. Like it's so iconic, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where they're possibly going to take it, but Cowboy Bebop's got a pretty straightforward story that they can easily adapt into this. I think here's the thing: if they fuck this up, then in my mind they fucked it all up. Because Cowboy Bebop is an easy adaptation. Like, it's something that you could translate very easily into live action, I feel like. I mean, obviously there are like the technical and financial hurdles, but narratively, like, a strong writer could definitely take this and run with it and translate it very easily onto the live action screen. So I feel like if they fuck this one up, it's like there's no hope. You know?
Yeah, I wouldn't get your hopes up, honestly. I'm just maybe I just don't like. I'm you know this about me. I'm very elitist when it comes to like anime and manga shit.
I'm not. I'm very loose with my fandoms. I like to see different interpretations. I like to get different takes, and if it's good, it's good, and if it's bad, it's bad. Like, I take the work for what it is.
You know the series that I am the true least about. But.
Yeah. I mean, I know, and I there's a lot of series that are like that for you, and I just don't. For me, I'm like, I'll take what I get, and if I like it, I like it. If I don't like it, I don't like it. You know, I'm okay with different takes, and I'm okay like. If this live-action Cowboy Bebop movie comes out and it's, like, fucking incredible, then I'm going to be all about that shit. Like, nobody wants this to be good more than me. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
If it's bad, like, I'm going to shit in its mouth. So, anyway. I've got one last bit of news here, Todd, before we wrap up for this week. So this is funny. The expensive $200 Power Armor edition of Fallout 76.
Oh, thank God. So what's funny is I didn't know if you were going to bring this up, because if this wasn't the news item, I was going to bring it up.
This came bundled with all kinds of stuff, including a wearable 251B Power Armor helmet and a canvas West-Tech duffel bag. But as fans discovered, the game didn't actually ship with that canvas bag, but a cheap nylon replacement. Understandably, the people who dropped all of the money on this are pissed. Bethesda claims that this was due to, quote, unavailability of materials, and has chosen to gift purchasers of the Power Armor Edition 500 atoms, which is about $5 worth of in-game currency.
Here's the problem. If idiots take that, they can't sue.
Right. This is so funny to me. I'm like, unavailability of materials? Like, are you shitting me?
It's fucking canvas.
It's canvas. I think I even made the joke when this news first came out. I was like, I saw the posts that were like, the year is 2018. Canvas is our only resource.
But it's funny is like, apparently they gave them to influencers.
Right, the influencers got the actual shit. Yeah. But then the people who ponied up the money for it, who spent the $200, don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so crazy to me. How do you guys get away? Bethesda is in like a bad place right now. Like,
oh, dude, they're burning some bridges.
Bethesda is not in a good place in the public eye right now.
Oh, not at all.
And I almost wonder. Like, I'm almost to the point where I'm like, what are you guys going to do? Like, people aren't going to settle. The market is going to speak, Todd. People aren't going to settle for this shit for that long. Like, when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, if they don't do something to right the ship before Elder Scrolls 6 or Starfield comes out, people are going to stop showing up for you. And, I mean, look, their games are always going to sell well, but, like, I'm telling you, like, I'm probably like I'm to the point where I have to kind of put my foot down on a personal level where when Bethesda releases a game, I've got to be iffy of it now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm not gonna pre-order Starfield or Elder Scrolls 6 or anything like that. I'm gonna like wait and see. And when you've got me in a wait and see place with you,
it's a bad place to be.
It's a bad place to be, and they're not in any danger. They've got money to last for fucking forever. You know, their games are going to sell well regardless, but I'm telling you, you're going to start seeing some diminishing returns if you don't fucking act right. Mm-hmm. You can't keep doing stuff like this. You know, you've got to tighten up. I mean, like,
Honestly, Bethesda's like PR for the entire like Fallout 76 like fiasco type of shit going on has been
it's
terrible.
been garbage, and it is a fiasco. And like, and they've got to, they've got to do something about this. Not only because Fallout 76 comes out and it's like, okay, the game's a mess, right? And then like, also you're going to take these people who have given you all this money for your collector's edition. It's a cool collector's edition otherwise, right? Like, it is. Like, it's a cool collector's edition with this low quality ass bag when you promised a nice one. It's not unavailability of materials. You didn't want to pay the money for it. That's what it is. It was more, you bit off more than you could chew. That's what it is. And rather than come out ahead of it and let your fans know about it or whatever, and give them the opportunity to cancel your pre-orders, you were dirty about it.
Yep.
So that's what it is. It's nothing more and nothing less than that. And then to recompense, you say, oh, hey, yeah, you can't sue us anymore if you accept this gift of $5.
That's the thing. Dumbasses probably don't even realize that. Like the moment they take that shit, they've been compensated.
And here's the hilarious thing. The 500 atoms that they gift you is not even enough.
You can't even get shit with that.
It's not even enough to buy the outfit that the bag is based on. Isn't
it like the postman?
Yeah,
shit?
It's based on like this postman outfit, and that costs 700 atoms. So
holy shit!
It's like the perfect storm of bullshit. It's just This game and its launch could not have been handled any worse.
Real shit.
It is like one of the major like blunders of 2018. When we look back on 2018, like Bethesda has like shat on it so thoroughly that like they're almost to the point now with like all of the things that have been coming out of Bethesda lately. And we've been talking about this really since the advent of this podcast, where it's like the things that you're doing are not okay anymore. And especially considering the fact that like the games that you come out that are good aren't even being made by you. They're just published by you. You know? Like Doom is good. Dishonored is good. You guys don't make Doom and Dishonored. The games that
the best Fallout wasn't made by them.
Yeah, so I'm just sort of like you guys have got to step it up. Like you guys have got to step it up. And I understand that this game wasn't made by Bethesda proper, but it's being totally pitched as if it were. And by the way, when Fallout 76 was announced, they were also disingenuous about the way that about the game's content. They were kind of hyping it up like it was sort of a single player game, and it 100% isn't. To the point where like my little sister Hope, like she was like, "Oh, Fallout 76, I'm totally gonna get it," and I'm like, "No, you're not. It's online only," and she didn't know because my they don't have internet out there, good enough internet to play online.
I mean, yeah, they definitely, yeah.
So like they literally, I'm so glad that I don't work at GameStop anymore because I can't even imagine the amount of like people who bought that game thinking that they could play it.
Instantly fucking return it basically within like a day.
Yeah, I can't imagine the amount of pissed off phone calls that they probably got up there from people who bought the game thinking that. And and when you work on the other side of the desk, the other side of the counter like that, you try your best to sort of make sure the customer knows that and sort of like engage with the customer in that way and let them know that like hey, this is an online only game, just making sure you know that. But like, man, like that's not our job. That's not actually our job. It's Bethesda's job. And they've just been dropping the ball at every conceivable juncture with this game, and we just can't we can't abide by this shit anymore. There's got to be change. So I just hope that people wise up to this stuff and they start voting with their wallet, because I know that I am. Anyway, anything else you want to add before we wrap it up, Todd?
I think that's about it.
All right, thanks for listening, guys. Sorry for the angry tirade at the end there. I was I was literally at the end there. For some reason I've got my vacuum cleaner next to me, and I was holding it like it was a staff. as I was saying that.
Well, here's the thing. I'm happy you brought it up because I didn't know if you were gonna bring it up. I don't know. Like, we don't do show notes anymore. It's like a fucking wing it sort of situation
Pretty
every day
much,
for me,
yeah.
type of shit.
I pretty much just pull up like newsworthy items now, and
So I'm like, if you didn't bring this up, I was gonna bring it up myself because I think this was just something that was like worth talking about.
yeah, this
It's fucking insane. It's like, holy shit.
this fuckery has got to again, I'm sorry for the sort of like this is the sort of tirade, but we have to drag these dudes through the mud. Like, we have to let them know that this is not okay with us.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week. Get fucking dunked on. Bye.
See ya.
Hey there, thanks for checking out another fantastic Nerd Bourbon video. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, be sure to go ahead and subscribe, leave us a like, drop us a nice comment, or I guess a mean one if that's your prerogative. But until next time, get dunked on.